Sup nerds, I'm Tom.
I'm Wes.
And I'm Aaron.
This is an old game, but a new version, so we're talking about it.
Castles of Burgundy. Do we need to describe it to you? In this game, you're going to be rolling dice and selecting tokens off of this purchasing center with those dice. Also using the dice to place them from what you've purchased onto your board. So it's a very Euro-y game where you're trying to, get these different buildings that you can put into your city, and you have to start at your castle, which is, we'll usually start in the center of the board.
Yeah,
right?
so there's a bunch of boards that are all the same, so everybody can play the exact same board, or there's a bunch of especially in this expansion, version with a bunch of different expansions, there's tons of different boards. Mm-hmm. But yeah, you either spend the dice to pick up a token, spend it to put it from your board onto the actual spot on the board. From your reserve onto the board, or you can pitch a die to sell goods, which is another action, or you can pitch a die to get some more modifier tokens, and that's pretty much it. It's a very straightforward game and really quick to get once you learn the rules. And you may be saying, well, Tom, if you're rolling your dice and whatever the die faces are, those are your actions, that sounds terrible, because then you could just roll something and you don't get what you want, and then you just got no good actions for the turn.
You got these modifier guys.
Well, not only that, but even if you don't have those, your options are usually, there's a lot of them, right? Mm-hmm. There's usually
do you get a thing?
Tiles.
Yeah. Do you build a thing? Do you ditch it to get more modifiers?
Yeah, because you can always take at least one action where you ditch it to get 2 workers, and that's usually enough to change your other die to what you need.
Yeah, because the dice roll over too. So if you've got a 4 and 2 modifiers, it could be a 4, 5, 6, or 2, 3. Mm-hmm. So the only thing you couldn't get with that is a 1.
But also, when you said roll over, you could spend a
modifier
to bring a 6 to a 1. Yeah, you said roll over, and then you just talked about something else.
I picked the one example where it wouldn't happen. I absolutely love this game. This is one of those older classic games that came out before we really got into board gaming. Mm-hmm. And even that it was probably still popular at that point, we were like, ew, Euros, gross. Yeah. I want my Ameritrash games.
Give me Imperial Assault.
Or
nothing against either of those games.
No, all of that is amazing. I still love it. But the more we get into it and the more Euros I play, I played this very recently, and I'm like, I can't believe it took me this long. Mm-hmm. Now I get what the hype is all about. Absolutely love it.
So with your strategy, you're definitely looking to buy buildings that you can place at the time of buying them, because you can only hold 3 buildings at a time. Mm-hmm. So if you're buying things that aren't even the building type that's adjacent to what you've already unlocked, then you're not going to be able to place it. So you may want to buy certain things. You're like, oh, I really want this to get this boat right now because I don't have to use a modifier to get it. But if you're not close to water, you might have to hold on to that one for a while and cycle out other buildings, trying to build towards it so that you can actually place it. Mm-hmm. And then the other big strategy thing is you want to complete the different areas on the board. Like if there's 3 adjacent of the water or 2 of the adjacent silver mines, you want to fill that entire zone in, and you get bonus points for filling it in.
Yeah, the bigger the area, the more points, but the sooner you do it, the more bonus points. So you want to do the biggest area on the first turn, which is pretty much impossible.
I'd rather play half game, get the whole snow cone.
There's so many different things to go for, because he's right that completing a whole clump gets you bonus points, but completing all of one color gets you bonus points. You can sell goods, which gets you bonus points, and if you play with the trade routes expansion, you can get more abilities. And that is, so we're talking about the anniversary edition. Chances are you've probably already played Castles of Burgundy. It is, again, a modern classic, and it's that way for a reason, but we do want to talk about our thoughts on that a little bit, but I do want to explain to you kind of a lot of the stuff that you get in the anniversary edition and why I think it's superior and why I think you should, I definitely think you should, if you don't own Castles of Burgundy, get this one. If you own Castles of Burgundy, not saying you should get rid of that one and replace it with this one, but maybe you should.
The quality of these games is typically not the best, so if you've had Castles of Burgundy for 8 years, odds are it's probably due for an upgrade anyway.
Yeah, well, or for a lateral move, quality-wise.
I do really enjoy this game as well. I can see why it's a modern classic. The expansions in this game, I feel, especially the ones that are included on this base card that are kind of if you're playing it, you're like, here's all your actions. They're kind of included. They feel like they should be there anyways. They're very minor upgrades.
I
You know,
think
like-
there was expansions and promos that were added. So like a lot of the expansions aren't like this big game check. Some of them are bigger.
I think some of the expansions were promos.
Yeah.
Like in other games. I think you could have purchased another game from Aaliyah or whatever, and it came with a promo for Castles of Burgundy.
Okay. But that's part of what you're saying. That some of them are so
feels like-
minor
Yeah.
that it's not like this. Now we're gonna add this expansion, and it's like no, like the extra buildings, like just put those in, and they should have been there the whole time. Or not.
Yeah.
The game's perfectly fine without them.
But play with them every single game moving
Yeah.
forward. Yeah.
I think that it does a great job of making you plan ahead, and trying to mitigate your luck, because you are rolling dice and hoping to get certain things. You're not always going to get them. You're going to have to ditch your dice to get more modifiers, or you're going to have sell your goods so that you can get coins and buy from that center market that isn't achievable with dice. Like you can only get these special things. It's kind of like a black market, and that's why they're all black, I guess. They're out there in the center. You're going to buy them with the coins, and it's just, an extra thing that you're getting without having to, spend dice to get it, which, is really good.
Yeah, and the name of the game for doing well in this game is combos.
Yeah.
Just I buy this building, which lets me put out another building. When I put out this building, it gives me a bonus action of the white die. So that's a 4, which I'm going to use to place this boat, which lets me pick up these goods, and then I can sell these goods and put them on the trade route. So the expansion that I like the most in this is the trade routes. So you have all these trade routes out there that when you sell goods, normally in the base game you're kind of incentivized to wait until you have a real big stack of goods so you can sell them all for one action and get all those points. But with this, when you sell the goods, you plop them down one at a time going down the trade route, and whenever you match a color, which isn't going to happen that often if you're doing all the same color, you get to do whatever that bonus action is on there. So it kind of changes your incentivization for selling goods, as you might want to do that action more often and with smaller amounts so you can match more colors. There are also shields that can get put out there that when you roll doubles you can get that are really big points and some special abilities. There are, of course, tons and tons of new, not necessarily new, but they include pretty much everyone that was included plus a bunch of extras.
And some of them have variants built onto them, like little towers you have to connect.
Little towers you have to connect, but there's a team game, there's a solo game, there are, of course, like Aaron said, there's the new buildings that are pretty much on your
Reference card.
already. I think that's mostly it. Yeah, the new duchies with the towers. Yeah, that's
the other stuff that if we missed anything, it's stuff that's so minor that like I want to be in the game, but it doesn't like revolutionize the game either. So we may not have even noticed.
Yeah, there are a lot of minor to the point where I think in the advertisement it says like you get 11 expansions or something. It's like, well, you could count each building as an expansion in theory. Yeah, I mean there's a lot in here, but it's mostly just giving you more variety on the base game, not a lot. Like the trade routes, again, I guess the team game and the solo game, but like the trade routes are for normal gaming, change it up the most.
Mm-hmm.
So if you guys haven't heard of Stefan Feld, he's kind of a big deal. And this is definitely, I think you all think, like one of his best games ever. And if you don't have this game, you definitely need to pick it up. If you can swing it, definitely go for this one. Some people think that the artwork is too busy. Like coming into this with my first game, I prefer it because it's a prettier board.
Yeah.
So definitely try to pick this one up. If you need to get the older one because you find it on sale, just get this game because you will enjoy it. So click on the purchase link in the description box. Get yourself a copy.
While you're down there, don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you'll never be bored. Also, the component quality sucks, but they're never going to change that, so who cares?